This is literally it. I need a big boy nap. But let's talk about something fun that someone did.
All right. Well, this is Ian's topic here. This is going to be something special. But we've always had sort of a conversation, Ian and I, about what are the worst NES game publishers and developers, and the common perception always was that LJN was the worst publisher, partially popularized by a certain Angry Video Game Nerd character on YouTube. I've heard of him. You might have.
I think I know who he is.
You might have had a taco with the person that plays him.
A taco in the beer with him.
But then there was also questions about the developer, and then you brought up before a great point about the rare games usually are below average in general.
Yes, there's a reason why a lot of rare games are rare, because they sucked and didn't sell.
But before now, how did you know that? How did you quantify all these game scores based upon developer and rarity and publisher and even genre?
Well, first, a certain book needed to exist.
A certain book?
To gather all this information into one place.
You mean a certain book that would tell you the year the game came out, the genre, developer, publisher, and rarity?
Hardbound in an attractive volume, perhaps about 6 pounds.
And maybe a reviewer painstakingly wrote all these, and then you put a star rating for each order to get this information on paper?
Okay.
Very thick 105-page weight paper?
All right, the joke's done.
Well, someone did that.
Yeah.
Someone did that. They recorded, but then after that book was out, recorded the information down, which if I was smart, someone might have done beforehand in order to come up with this data. But a certain NES guide app can kind of do it. But this was emailed to me. This was emailed. This was emailed by oh God, where's the information? This is bad if I can't find the information the person did that. Ian, take it away while I find the information.
All right. Well,
where's the information?
Well, Pat looks it up. This person compiled all of this information in a very nice way. So the first thing that we
Samuel compiled this information, and sent it to me in a shared Google Doc.
And it's just very fun to go by. So this is, of course, by the guidebook's standards and ratings. But the first thing that it was broken down into is Mean Star by Rarity. And this actually is...
Not meaner, average.
Yeah. It's... So... From the lowest amount of stars awarded seems to have been awarded to the extremely rare titles, which actually falls right into line with what I've basically always said. Most of the rare games are not worth owning.
So according to a certain NES guidebook, there's 7 sort of descriptors of availability.
Extremely rare, very rare, rare, very uncommon, uncommon, common, and very uncommon.
They flip the tags up at the same score, thankfully. So extremely rare, the average score out of 5-point scale was 1.2. Very rare, the average rating was 1.6. Rare, 2.2, which is right below the average of 2.5. And then uncommon, very uncommon and uncommon were both 2.9, which is just under above average. Common, 3.0 on the dot, which is above average. And then very common, the most common games, 3.3, which is just under a good, quote-unquote, good game. So it makes sense when you think about it, though, that the games that are very common are the most popular ones. And common games, why wouldn't they be the best games? Those ones that sell the best, by and large. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Then we go down to the question they ask, and I love that they reference the book as like this is like a scientific journal review.
Yeah, I like it too. So the question, wasn't LJN the worst NES publisher? And honestly, by halfway through, doing any amount of, I think, reviews on this book, it became pretty obvious who the worst was to anyone working on it.
But we kind of knew before that. Though.
Yeah, we did. But by far the worst publisher on the NES was THQ. This is with 10 or more published titles. Yeah, 10 or more published
and this
titles.
includes unlicensed publishers as well.
Yes, this includes unlicensed publishers. You had to have 10 or more titles published. And far and away, THQ is the worst publisher.
And I am going to use the app to bring up the games while we talk about them.
Yeah, because THQ is miserable.
You ready?
With such wonderful titles as Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
I'll run down all of them because it's not that many.
Okay.
The Adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle, 1 star. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, 2 stars. The Great Waldo Search, 1 star. Home Alone, 1.5 star. Home Alone 2, 1 star. James Bond Jr., 2 stars. Peter Pan and the Pirates, 2 stars. Ren and Stimpy Show, Buckaroos, 3 stars. I gave that. Swamp Thing, Ian gave that 1 star. I believe you reviewed that.
Awful.
Videomation, the creativity title, 2.5 stars. Wayne Gretzky Hockey, 1 star.
Yep.
Wayne's World, 1 star. Might be generous. And Where's Waldo? Half star. Could have gave it a bomb. I was generous that day.
Yeah, they're awful. LJN,
LJN
jumps half point 0.6 stars to 2.1.
That's a significant difference.
That
So the
is
average LJN game is 2.1. The third then is Acclaim at 2.4. Oh, by the way, these are licensed publishers, not unlicensed.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
These are just
Sorry.
licensed. So if you put in Color Dreams, though, Color Dreams would probably be around 1.5.
Yeah.
It would be in that neighborhood.
Yep, I think so.
Do any of these surprise you as you go through some of these scores? Data East being about average at 2.6. I think that's about fair.
That's about right. I am actually I'm surprised at Tengen. Actually,
Is that high?
I feel like that's surprisingly high.
At 3.7?
Yes, because I'm trying to figure out what Tengen could have put out
Well,
that was so highly rated that
let's-
would have.
Let's
Thrust
see. Wait, I can tell you. Tengen.
Was it my glowing RBI baseball review?
I reviewed RBI Baseball. This is why. Alien Syndrome, 3 stars. Gauntlet, 3.5 stars.
So they probably just
Clax,
hung
3.5 stars. Miss Pac-Man, 5 stars. Pac-Man, 4 stars. RBI Baseball, 1, 2, and 3. I give it 3.5 stars for all of them. Rolling Thunder, 4 stars. Tetris, 4.5 stars.
You old softy.
For what? Tetris?
No, I just mean you're a softy in general.
Oh, I was too generous with some of these, you think?
No, but no,
I review
see.
all of these.
No, I'm just saying. Okay, so they hovered around average. No, it didn't. Tecmo did not surprise me at all. Hudson Soft did not surprise me. Taito did not surprise me. Capcom is exactly the same as Tengen, so that's not surprising.
No, that's 0.1 off. It's Konami's 3.5,
okay.
Capcom 3.6, Tengen 3.7, Taito 3.7, the B 3.7, and then the winner,
Tecmo doesn't surprise. That doesn't surprise me.
Tecmo at 3.8, according to the stats by me, Ian, and 5 other writers, was the highest rated NES publisher. Tecmo. Does that surprise you at all?
No, it doesn't. When you think about the general quality of Tecmo's games, it doesn't surprise me at all.
I'll just run through Tecmo's real quick here. This was almost worth it for the app. Bad News Baseball, 4 stars. Fire and Ice, 4 stars. Money Bomb Jack, 3 stars. Ninja Gaiden, 1 and 2, 4.5. I gave 4 stars to Ninja Gaiden 3. Rygar, 3.5. Solomon's Key, 3.5. Star Force, 3. Tecmo Baseball, 3. Tecmo Bowl, 4.5. Tecmo Cup Soccer, 3. NBA Basketball, 4. Super Bowl, 5. Tecmo World Cup Soccer, 3. Tecmo World Wrestling, 4. Is there a bad one out of those?
No.
All enjoyable, at least competently done games.
Right.
You could even say for Konami and Capcom, there were some misfires, in there, but not for Tecmo. Good old Tecmo.
And then mean star rating by licensed developer with 5 or more published.
No, there's a
titles.
lot more developers than publishers,
Right.
so we can't go through
All
a lot
of
of
them,
these.
but yeah, it honestly it doesn't surprise me. The low end and the top end of this is not actually particularly surprising. There is one that does stick out a little bit, and it's Atlas, which is in the lower third at 2.8.
That's still above average.
It's
though.
above average, but Atlas today as a publisher and as a developer is seen as almost untouchable in the world of RPGs and other quirky type games.
Sure.
But everyone starts somewhere, and Atlas did things like MLB Baseball, published by LJN, and not a very good game. And even though I like it, Karate Kid was an Atlas game. I mean, not exactly,
Well, you gave it
stellar.
You gave it 3 stars, though.
Yeah.
And I gave Jaws 3 stars. So I mean, it's not like these are bad games.
No, they're not the worst. Nintendo R&D 4 with their huge jump up. What was the amount of games they published?
I'll tell you in a second. I was just going for the Atlas games, but Atlas was saved by stuff like Bonk's Adventure
Yeah,
as well. They were part development.
along with Red.
Okay, so we're doing Nintendo R&D 4. So Nintendo had like 5 different branches of
yes.
developers, EAD. So R&D 4 did They only did 5 games.
Okay.
Legend of Zelda, the Super Mario trilogy, and Zelda 2.
Okay. Well, yeah.
That sort of explains that.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't really.
That's almost not fair. You almost can't.
Can't really.
That's like the Miyamoto wing, right? That's
Right.
like you can't really. That's almost not fair to put that on there. But Koei makes excellent games. Tecmo, we just talked about.
Namco.
The Co. Compile, Culture Brain, Taito always is high up there. Capcom, Natsumi, and Konami. HAL Laboratories always strong. Technos Japan. Sunsoft, Hudsoft. The top 15, Bally, Midway, Vic Tokai sneaks in there. The top half are there. Then Atari Games sort of divides it right there in the middle there. That's a fascinating now by developer. That's great. Going down a little more. Mean star rating by license status. This is we all know.
No.
I'm actually surprised it's not close, but it's significantly different. The average licensed game is a 3.0, which is above average. Average unlicensed is 2.2, which is near below average. So.
Well, you figure
almost
that
a full star.
But Tengen's buoying up the unlicensed side a ton. If you were to remove Tengen from unlicensed,
it'd be like 1.5 probably versus like 3.5. Yeah. You're right. So it actually is kind of significant.
And then R&D 4, and then you go by Nintendo, and yeah, it's interesting.
Nintendo in general, a 3.1 is for the arcade games. What about the different genres on the NES? Which were the best? According to the Country 2006. I like how it's written. You gotta check this out if I'm allowed to share this. So the best genre overall, it's not fair since there's not that many, but includes Ian's favorite game. The maze genre is the highest rated genre on the NES. Why are you looking like I'm crazy?
My favorite game.
Clue Land
is
a maze game.
Sure.
So, but you only have Pac-Man, Clue Land. You have Miss Pac-Man, and really, what else is there? Give me 1 second. Paddle and Ball 3.8. There's only 2 games that are Paddle and Ball in the NES.
Arkanoid and Thunder and Lightning.
Yeah, maybe one more, but that's it. Fighting 3.5. There's only there's 3 or 4. No. You got Best of the Best.
Oh, okay.
Which I gave 4.5 stars. Ninja Turtles. Tournament Fighter, I think I gave 4.5 stars. So that's those 2 right there. There's not that many other than that though. You count Mike Tyson's Punch Out. I think I split that genre.
Based on numbers, some of this falls apart a little bit.
Sure, but we're not looking at significant difference. This is just just an average. What was I going to look up? Which ones you want me to look up?
I don't remember.
The lows mean compilation 0.8, and there's only like 10 games that are compilation carts, but the big ones are Action 52 is abysmal,
and Myriad / Caltron,
and that just kills it right there.
Exactly.
I mean, once you get those 2 in there, then the other ones were usually not rated right because Donkey Kong Classics, you can't really rate that as much because those aren't independent games right there.
Right.
Then going down, and is that it? That's it. So play those maze games. Oh, I was looking up what the maze games were. That's what I was looking up. This is going to be... So that's the key to life.
You know what? For 3rd edition, if Tag and Dragon is not maze game, it might have to be.
Did you not make Tag and Dragon a maze game? You reviewed that.
We did not have maze game as a
was it
set
back that early? Uh-oh, there's a reason to do a 3rd print now.
Tag and Dragon is kind of a versus maze game.
I would say that's more action still, though, because your main objective isn't to collect stuff, but to kill enemies. That's one of those in the middle ones. Maybe it's a secondary genre. Hey, I'm being honest here. I got to justify myself, not look like an idiot here. Okay. Oh no, maze games. Bomberman is part action, part maze, and Bomberman 2. Clue Land, Devil World, and that's a strong game. Digger T-Rock could count. Miss Pac-Man, Pac-Mania, and then Trog, the Great Trog.
The Great Trog.
That's what we forgot about. So remember, if it made it to the NES as a maze game, it's probably pretty good. So, so how you feeling, Ian?
I'm done.
You done?
I'm done.
You want to go home? You want to talk about the coded SNES game?
Nope.
Right.
I'm good.